Wow, that was a great Friday night, wasn't it, Balloon Chaser?
Friday night down the pub with Misteregg. What more could you want?
That Friday night that we've just had, wink, wink, was really good. Welcome to our new podcast. Well, no, actually, we've had a podcast for a while, but we've decided to sort of do one kind of officially for a while. Let's see how it goes anyway. So, Friday night, down the pub, I'm Misteregg.
And I'm Balloon Chaser.
Now, you might not have heard of Balloon Chaser before, or maybe you have, but he's the guy who is basically my, I always say the brains of the whole channel, really.
Yeah, it's all relative though, mate, really.
It was a conversation between me and you that started the whole channel. Just, should we briefly, very briefly?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were sat in the pub, weren't we?
Just there.
Sat on that sofa over there.
We've had to clean up after our busy Friday night.
And you already had the YouTube channel, and you were looking for more subscribers. And at the time, I had a different YouTube channel, teaching English, and I had 3,000 subscribers, which seemed like a lot at the time. So we started working together on Le Pub channel.
Yeah.
The next minute, Le Pub's got 15,000 plus subscribers, and my original channel's got 3,100.
But it's all U-turn now, because you've got your own channel, which you don't do education, but you talk about
different things in Pattaya.
Pattaya.
Trying not to do the same topics as we do on Le Pub, but doing all the ones that we reject, put on the cutting room floor.
What actually happens is, me and Balloon Chaser will have a meeting, and he'll say something like, "Oh, I think we should go and do a hotel in Hua Hin or something," and I say, "No, that's a load of rubbish. Why would we want to do a hotel in Hua Hin?" And then, hey presto, next week I'm scrolling down YouTube, and then who's gone to a hotel in Hua Hin?
Well, that's it. I do remember saying to you, "Would you like to take a bus trip? Sit on a bus for 5 or 6 hours and go to Hua Hin?" And you went, "No."
Well, no, I didn't say no. I just said I haven't got the time.
Yeah.
Of course, I'd like to do loads of things, but I just don't have the time.
No
I've
time.
got 2 bars.
So what can I do? Forced to go on with Jack Jones, going solo.
Can I just tell people who are not familiar with Cockney rhyming slang that on my Jack Jones means on my own, basically?
That's true.
Right.
2 guys from Birmingham doing Cockney rhyming slang.
We look like, just for those people that are listening to the podcast on the podcast feed, you maybe at some point come into the YouTube channel, which is Le Pub Pattaya, Le Pub Pattaya, and come and see how we look, because I look pretty normal, but you're kind of, there's something about you, there's something different.
There is actually. I've got my hat on back to front. I think that's the only thing that's different, isn't it?
Yeah, but the shirt, I'm looking at the shirt. The shirt.
Well, I mean, I believe there's some special event coming up in Pattaya and the whole of Thailand in the next 7 days, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, this is going to be, we've not really got a set agenda, if you like, but we were going to talk about certain things, headline things, and the headline thing, really what I wanted to do is, because it's called Down the Pub, it's what are people talking about in the bar, and can we sort of replicate that conversation? And there's actually more people in the bar at the moment than there was last night. It's a bit quiet. Maybe we could talk about that later. But we were basically thinking about Songkran. Everybody's talking about Songkran, what they think of it. And I know this is such a cliche thing to say, but it's I hate this thing. It's a Marmite thing, isn't it?
I tell you, that is true. I mean, people I talk to, they either absolutely love it or they absolutely hate it. I haven't heard anyone say, "Oh yeah, Songkran, take it or leave it." I've never heard anyone say that. And you, Phil, you're one of the guys who really loves Songkran.
Actually, no. I've got this hatred of Songkran, and I can't really describe it. But it is real. I want you to know, it's not just something I put on. I really, really get, like, you know that feeling you get in the pit of your stomach when you absolutely despise something, and I really, I mean, Pete's got Balloon Chaser's got a Songkran shirt on for effect, for comedic effect, I suppose. And we're also going to hopefully a thumbnail with me dressed in a waterproof looking snooty. Now I know looking snooty I don't do very well, but I don't know, maybe I do. But yeah, just the sight. I went into a 7-Eleven, and I think what it is, because it was from the 1st of April, so I think what they sell the girls on the 7-Eleven, or there are guys that serve on 7-Elevens as well, is just wear a Songkran shirt. Let's get into the Songkran mood, right? And it just triggered me, and I thought, I haven't really thought much about the fact that, and maybe we should do a big reveal here, rather like on your channel opening the fridge in the hotels that you go to. My big reveal is I'm not going to be here. I'm going off to England, but I'm not really excited about it until the point where I saw the ladies in the 7-Elevens in the Songkran shirt.
But I mean, like, there's people who don't like Songkran, we've said already, but leaving the country to get away from Songkran, isn't that a bit extreme?
I'm not alone. Seriously, you speak to, we're talking about, the conversations in the bar. You speak to a lot of expats and they are all the same. There are people that are seriously just leaving. I think it's becoming quite, the weather's changing, I suppose, in Europe at the moment. In America, we're coming out of the winter into nicer times. And so I think people look at that. Also, maybe it's like Easter. I don't know if people are religious or whatever. But there are plenty of people I speak to, and it's a minority, but it's a big minority of people that just say, I'm with you, Phil, I'm going. I mean, a lot of people are going to the Philippines.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine people going across the border because maybe they're not celebrating at the same time like that. But 12, 13, 14 hours to go back home, no, that can't be right, can it?
Maybe, no. No. But if you're going to go, so maybe people that actually live here in Pattaya, we see going home as it's maybe a bit of a chore. Yeah. I know this sounds ridiculous, but maybe we do. And so maybe we put 2 and 2 together. So I don't like Songkran. I'd rather get out of the whole situation. Hey, why don't I take this as an opportunity to go home? I think people, that's the feeling that people have.
Equally, I guess, if you're in Pattaya or anywhere else, tourist area in Thailand, all the hotels are booked up for Songkran.
Yes,
so for everyone who's leaving the country, there's probably 10 times as many people who are actually coming to the country. People come here especially for Songkran.
I know, and this is, I desperately try to get into the minds, the thought process of people, but I do kind of mock it a little bit on the channel. I say, so look at the price of airfares now. What, £1,000 from UK, 1,200, 1,300 euros, 1,200. Oh, you're going to get noises off like that. Don't worry, folks. I haven't started playing the piano or the flute. That is the clock card machine going off, which means it's 2 o'clock in the morning because we're on Friday night. So yeah, what, $1,300, $1,400 to come from America, and you come here, you pay that sort of money to just throw water, icy water at people. Maybe we should, for those people that are uninitiated, what exactly is Songkran?
Well, I mean, it depends whether you look at traditional Songkran. I mean, most people would say Songkran is when Thai people celebrate New Year. So it's going out with the old and in with the new. So all over the country, they're going to have celebrations. It's just outside of the tourist areas, outside Khao San Road, Pattaya, Phuket, places like that, it's going to be far more traditional. And traditionally, yes, there's going to be the putting of water onto people. You'll see Thai people pouring scented water over a Buddha image, over the shoulders and the chest of the Buddha image. And it's to do with transitioning from the old into the new. So that's kind of where it starts from.
When you say transitioning from the old to the new, do you mean the old New Year into the New Year, or the old way they celebrated it into the new way they celebrate?
Well, Songkran is about celebrating. It's kind of planetary, that is the history of it.
But it's the same day every year. It's the 13th of April.
Yeah. But originally, it's to do with the star signs, and they're moving from Aries, I think it is, into the next star sign, and that's where it came from. I mean, it's an old Indian-based celebration, I believe, originally, and it's around the time of like the harvest and everything like that. So there is something about moving into the spring, the summer. Everything is starting afresh.
Somebody's been reading Wikipedia about this.
Well, there is someone on the channel who does some research. There has to be somebody who does research on this channel.
Excuse me while I remove this knife from my back. I'm busy running 2 bars. That's always my excuse. It's a brilliant excuse to have. Why haven't you done X, Y, and Z in your life? Because I'm running 2 bars.
That's it. And I've got nothing better to do than consume Wikipedia before I start.
But I didn't know that, so that's interesting, man. So, in that, look, we're talking about a transition and all that. How has it got to where it's at in Pattaya? And for those people that don't know, in Pattaya, you don't get that very polite pouring water over the Buddha image like you said and all that. It's very much, it's a fun sanok, to use a Thai word. It's kind of a water fight, a fun water fight between maybe different bars or different families, but it just turns into this complete blanket water fight on towards the end, which, and here's the point, this is really the crux of the matter to me, is that you can't opt out of it. There aren't set areas. If there was just a huge field, or they just said beach road, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, stay away if you're not into it. But they don't. You have to. You must take part, or if you don't like it, well, it's tough. And you know, even if you're, and I feel this happens, physically assaulted by people. You do things in Songkran that, in the UK, and I know it's very dangerous to start talking about things that happen in Thailand and comparing it to, you know, the consequences or whatever, you know, back in England or wherever you come from. But if you went up to a complete stranger and poured a bucket of water over them, even if they didn't want it, as a prank, as a pun, it could be, in this day and age, that could be assault, and you could get a record for it.
Yeah, I guess the thing is, I mean, we live in Pattaya, and if you come to Pattaya, it's a city of excess, isn't it, really? Whatever exists in the rest of the country and whatever exists previously through time, it's just become more and more extreme in Pattaya. And I think most people who come to Pattaya know what they sign up for when they agree that they're coming to Pattaya and want to come to Pattaya is they want excess. They want excess of everything.
So, what about the big underbelly of this city that is, it is a, how big is Pattaya? I mean, you're Mr. Wikipedia. How big is Pattaya?
I'm guessing about 400,000.
What? So is it like? So we all know Bangkok's the biggest city.
Yeah.
Is it Songkran the second?
The second biggest is probably, I don't know, I'm guessing Chiang Mai.
Okay. So say we're in the top 10 of the biggest population areas, if you like. Right. So, yes, we've got a lot of holiday makers, and that's all that probably most of our listeners and viewers on the YouTube channel know Pattaya for. But it's a working city. So there are people that have families taking kids to school, that run businesses here, that run financial, go to banks and, local government. And are we all supposed to just forget that? Because I'll give you an example, right? I've slipped into miserable old git mode here. Yeah. So I go to the bank, as I do most days, and anybody that follows my social media, my personal social media, will know that I seem to spend my entire life in banks. Why? Because I'm getting change for people like you who come into the bar. Not that I mind that. That is part of what I sign up for when I'm a bar manager. So I go to the bank, I change a load of money, I put it in my bag, I walk down the road, and somebody comes and tips a bucket of water over me, and all that money is gone. That's the sort of thing I don't like. And how about, as I saw a few years ago, and maybe you can, Pete, Balloon Chaser, you can come up with some examples of this. when I have been on a BART bus, and there was a very, very smart German couple that got onto the BART bus. The fact that they're German has nothing to do with it, but they're a very smart couple, but in their 50s or 60s, dressed for the evening.
Yeah.
So he was wearing very smart slacks, shoes, collared shirt, very nice cufflinks, that sort of thing. She was wearing a very, very nice evening dress, sitting on a BART bus. Stranger comes in, tips a bucket of water over them.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there, and I feel so sorry for them because they're saying, well, they're talking in German, which is not my top language. But what's this about? Why have they done that?
The thing is, even if this goes on for a week, really, in Pattaya, although it's only like 3 days in other parts of the country, it's a week in Pattaya, isn't it, that we have this? But nevertheless, there's 51 other weeks in the year when, if people don't like that sort of thing, they can probably choose to visit on one of the other 51 weeks of the year, can they not?
But yes, but what about those people that had no idea? They had no idea what they were signing up for, but they were coming to Pattaya, they'd heard about this lovely seaside resort. Just outside of Bangkok.
I think that's it, isn't it? If they've signed up for a lovely seaside resort and they've ended up in Pattaya, they got on the wrong bus, didn't they, really?
No, we are a family-orientated holiday destination.
But going back to what you said earlier, I mean, it is true. I mean, I lived in Bangkok for 10 years before I came down here. And in Bangkok, you can go to Khao San Road, you can go to, Central World or something like that. You can either go to Siam Square, and they've got designated areas where everyone goes crazy for Songkran. Outside of that, there's not too much going on. So They do have specified areas. And I think that is something that's a bit different than Pattaya. But those areas, like Khao San Road, that's where all the crazy bars are in the first place. But Pattaya is just a massive area, if you like, of entertainment and crazy bars. So if you just said, we'll keep it to the entertainment areas, Pattaya itself is a huge big entertainment area, so it'll still be everywhere, which is kind of where we've ended up, I guess.
So you've lived in Bangkok a long time. I certainly haven't been out in Bangkok since an ill-fated night out we had together 20 years ago, which you still go on about.
We did get wet that night, but it wasn't Songkran, was it? It was flooded the time we went. But anyway, yeah.
So I haven't been out for a while. If people are in Pattaya and getting a bit fed up of it, a little bit of practical advice. So it starts about the 10th, the 11th, the 12th, something like that. Then there's Songkran Day, which is the 13th. But then there's an official Pattaya Songkran Day on the 19th. Yeah. And there seems to be all the dates in between there, they just get merged into one. And there may well be financial reasons why that happens, i.e. the bars need to make some money. I get that, right. So if somebody is in the middle of it and just completely fed up of walking out, and they've had maybe a day of it, it was fun, but now they're fed up of it, can they go to Bangkok and get a little bit of is it an oasis, if you like?
Well, I tell you what, it is an oasis. It's almost a ghost town, to be perfectly honest with you. And outside of the particular areas that I've talked about, where there's a bar, there'll be people throwing water. But there's a bit more choice about whether you do get wet or not. The great thing about going to Bangkok during Songkran is no traffic jams, no delays, no anything. If there's someone listening or watching who thinks, I'd like to go to Bangkok, but it's just too damn busy, it's a great time to go at Songkran because there's hardly anyone there.
Good tip, yeah. Good tip.
Yeah, relatively speaking, no traffic jams in Bangkok during Songkran.
So you say Khao San Road and Central area. Yeah. Those are the places to avoid.
Yeah, and they actually have it so that you go in, you're searched to check that you're okay. It's an enclosed area. They have like phone parties, all of that kind of stuff going on. And outside of that, there's only a few bar areas. There's only a few bar areas that you need to worry about if you're someone who doesn't want to get wet. And you know, I worked there and I had to wear like a suit and tie and all the rest of it when I was working. And most people are respectful when you're walking past. If you look like you're going to work, most times, 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, they leave you alone. And it's only, it's water pistol wars, isn't it? So if there's someone there throwing water at you, you return fire. But if there's someone who's just walking past, ignoring you, doing their own thing, you don't get involved.
Do you know, there was times when I listened to your life in Bangkok, you know, how you used to be. I know you had like a regular job. And I'm just really not jealous, but envious of the time that you had in Bangkok, because that is so like normal, you know, just well, not normal, but it's respectful.
Yeah,
And you never seem to get that in Pattaya at this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You said earlier there's people going about their work in Pattaya. Do they want to get involved with Songkran? Well, I mean, a couple of things on that. One that I think you should point out, most Thai people that I know, they love Songkran. So whether they work in the bank, whether they work in a shop, whether they work in something else, they actually love Songkran.
Do you reckon? Seriously?
Yeah.
Because, first of all, when you live in Thailand, and certainly when you have got a business, got a business. I'm a great believer in Thai people will tell you what you want to hear. So if they know that you don't like Songkran and you ask them, do you like Songkran? They'll always go, no, it's horrible, right? But my experience has been that you ask most of the staff if they like Songkran, and okay, it's Songkran in Pattaya.
Yeah.
I would say the vast majority say no.
Well, it's interesting because, again, I'm guessing, correct me if I'm wrong, you're talking about maybe girls who work in a bar or something like that. Yeah. And you know much more about this than I do, but I guess for people who work in a bar, maybe there's lots of customers about, but maybe they're not drinking so much, maybe they're not interacting overnight with girls or whatever, a lot more than they would on a normal day. Maybe it's not a great time for them. But I'm talking about maybe just other people who are working, like you said, in the banks, in the hotels, serving in a coffee shop, something like that. All of the people that I've asked said they're really looking forward to it.
Strange, that one. Because I've had a completely different experience there. So, yeah, I think you've made a good point. So, maybe this is a good time to tell people that this isn't just a two-way conversation between me and you, but it's a conversation between us and the audience.
Yeah.
So, you're going to answer some of the comments in the comments when we put this out on YouTube.
Sure, yeah.
So, we'll both answer comments. So, if you agree with me, grumpy old git, hates Songkran, but for reasons, I'll tell you one of the main reasons, very briefly, is that I just like a routine, and the routines all go. So if you're like me and you hate it and you've had bad experiences, let us know in the comments down below. But also, if you think I'm talking complete rubbish and that the Balloon Chaser is correct, then please let us know too.
And I think the other thing about it, obviously, it's a Marmite issue for a lot of people, but it's not so black and white at the moment, because having been in Thailand for like over 10 years, I have to say, towards the end of that 10 years, I was getting completely bored with the annual Songkran event because I've experienced so many of them. We haven't had Songkran for like 3 years now. And I do get the impression that there's lots of people, it's almost like the first time when you come to Pattaya.
Yeah.
You can't beat that first time, in my opinion, that you come to Pattaya. However often you try to, that first time is just great. Well, now we haven't had some of the things for 3 years, including Songkran. I'm finding more people saying, for the first time in years, I'm going to give it a chance.
I mean, I would agree with you. I don't particularly like the music festival because I don't like live music anyway. And also, it's always Thai bands, and so it just means absolutely nothing to me. But I'm always happy that it brings people into Pattaya and the beach and everything. Again, fireworks. I mean, what you've seen one firework, you've seen them all. But there's a fireworks festival. The kids like it. It's nice that it brings people in. So I'm not a great fan myself. Maybe people are seeing a bit of a trend here. And I hate everything.
And similarly with the annual firework festival in Pattaya, I stopped coming. I used to travel from Bangkok just to see it.
Yeah.
But then when they brought it back after the break, I was back there pressing my nose to the window again because we hadn't seen it for a while.
Yeah.
And I think Pattaya this year, because we haven't had Songkran for like the last 3 years before, I think it's just going to be one big party and most people are going to love it.
Yeah, and I mean, can I just say, by the way, if you can hear noises off, if you're listening on the podcast audio, our audio listeners, we are open at the moment. We've just closed the bar after a busy Friday night, and and some of the staff have had a few drinks, so there are a few like enjoying it. So apologies about that. We are keen amateurs and not professional podcasters. So apologies. So yeah, I get it. So I will be in the UK for this is the big reveal part 2. I'm going to the UK, and you are going to be here in Pattaya. What plans have you got for this wonderful festival of fun? What are you going to do?
Honestly, I am going to be out on the street, at least for the first few days. As you know, I've got myself a waterproof camera, so I'm going to be going out to the bars and getting absolutely soaked, and hopefully the camera really is waterproof. There's going to be one way to find out, and if so, then I'm going to make some video clips, send them to you, and hopefully you're going to turn it into a video.
I hope so. And are you doing anything for your own channel on Songkran? Are you going to put those clips?
I might also, like I normally do, take the offcuts and put them into my own channel as well. But yeah, why not?
Oh, I'm feeling guilty now. Seriously, I think Balloon Chaser's channel is brilliant. Although there is a glaring something that made me laugh the other day. Is like you're called Balloon Chaser, and for those people that are not aware, a balloon chaser in Pattaya is somebody that sees parties in bars, and every time there's a party in a bar, number one, they put balloons out in the bar, and secondly, they usually have free food. So a balloon chaser is somebody that will deliberately go only to bars that have balloons outside because they think they're going to get a freebie, and have absolutely no loyalty to that bar whatsoever, and just go. And so you're called Balloon Chaser, and one of your videos that you've just put in your channel, you went to a hotel, which was a very nice hotel, but you went in the cheapest room because you're Balloon Chaser. And tell us how much the room was.
And the cheapest room was still 5,000 baht a night. And
Facebook.
I thought the most expensive rooms there were 15,000, but after checking, they were actually 17,500 baht per night. And I'm not sure that sits with a channel called Balloon Chaser, but there is actually almost a story about that, and that is when I came up with the name Balloon Chaser, I was working in Bangkok, and I was actually making a good salary, and I thought it was kind of tongue-in-cheek because I wasn't really a balloon chaser at all.
No, I don't think you are.
But as the years have gone past, I've become closer and closer to being a balloon chaser, and now when I use the name, they go, yeah, he looks like a balloon chaser.
Could there be some kind of link from your last comment about the fact that you're becoming more frugal and careful with your money, and the fact that you moved to Pattaya?
There could well be something in that. There could be a link to the fact that when I lost my job, which was when COVID started, I thought, where can I go and still have a good lifestyle for less money than it was costing me in Bangkok?
Pattaya.
And here I am.
Pattaya, absolutely. So, Balloon Chaser is your channel, and you have a big balloon as your logo.
Yes.
Rather unimaginatively.
Yeah, that figures, yeah.
So, tune in if you want to see some Songkran madness, and also if you want to see, I'll do some Songkran videos, but it will be from me in the UK. And what I am asking, if there's anybody out there listening or watching on the YouTube channel, is if you are in Pattaya and you're having a great time in Songkran, and trust me, I'm kind of a devil's advocate here, because I really want you to have a good time. Generally, we've been so long, we've been through so much rubbish over the last 3 or 4 years. Just, I hope you have a good time. If you do, make a little video, do it in portrait landscape mode, which means I've got a phone here for those people listening on the radio. So that's portrait, that's landscape. Do it in landscape and send it to me either by messenger or on our Discord channel, and the link to the Discord channel will be in the description of this YouTube video over on YouTube. Send it to me there, and I'll put it all together. Sorry about that. I think somebody just self-combusted. There are noises off. This is real radio, everybody. So please do that. Contribute. It is it's going to be a community thing, because I won't be here in Pattaya. So please help me out with that, and just let's have a feel for the town, what it's like, and maybe even might be a slither of a chance that I might change my mind on this and say, oh, I really wished I'd have been there.
Well, I tell you what, they're closing Beach Road, aren't they, on the last day, which I think is the 19th.
19th, yeah.
Do you remember when they used to bring the fire tenders, the fire engines down?
Yeah.
And all? I mean, I think it's just going to be one huge party.
Yes.
And seriously, for anyone who hasn't tried it, then the first time is always brilliant. And for those people who maybe were a bit bored with it 3 years ago, I think they're going to come back with renewed energy.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
it's going to be the best party of the year.
Yeah, I'm so pleased that everyone is going to have a good time. And, we've had 3 years of darkness, and this is the light. And this will probably be the line drawn under the pandemic. That will be. I mean, I'm saying this all the time. This is a line under the pandemic. I mean, with staffing problems in the bar and stuff like that, and that community feel that I've had during COVID. Now that seems to have. This is really it. This is the time when we can say, right, that is in the past. Maybe we can start putting that in perspective. And now we should think about, looking to the future.
And that is Songkran. That's where we started. Yeah. It's the transitioning from the old period into the new period. And if we can transition, as you say, draw that line, it can only be a good thing. And I think if this Songkran is like celebrating the fact that we've returned to some form of normality, that makes it an even better party than ever. So,
folks, can you please let us know? Hold on a minute, my cleaners. Oh, she's going. See you later. Bye-bye. Take care. Let us know your thoughts on this. Are you, like me, a Songkran hater? Or are you like Balloon Chaser? Clearly, somebody who likes merriment and fun and is looking forward to a great party to celebrate the fact that we are moving on into the future and all about that. So there you go. Let us know in the comments down below, and we'll both answer your comments, if you like, about that, and let us know. So let's move on. And you have a few subjects and a few things that you want to talk about on the podcast today.
One that I haven't told you about is that, we were talking recently about the Songkran songs and all of that sort of thing. Well, what do you think about the music that they play at Songkran?
Oh, hate it.
Really?
It's, for those that don't know, it's kind of, is it Isan music, or is it?
I think, because I think you said like the musical instrument is like the cairn or something like that.
It's like a clarinet,
it's like
oboe sort of sound.
Yeah.
No, completely hate it.
Oh, I love the old. I love all the music and all the pomp and ceremony and all that sort of thing. And one of the reasons I like it is it makes such a change from listening to songs like Hotel California and Zombie by the Cranberries and all of those songs. It's My Life. We stop hearing those for a few days, and that makes a whole week of not listening to those songs. That makes it all worthwhile.
I mean, I must admit, there's a bar. I'm always nice to this bar. The bar that's over the road for me.
Right.
I think it's called Hops Bar, and they have a playlist of music. It's very good, by the way. If you go, I always say, please go there and support them, because they're not that busy. Rather like myself at the moment. But they have a playlist of songs that, if you were to choose the top 10 of Pattaya songs that you hear over and over and over again, that they have it. You might as well just steal their playlist, because yes, Hotel California. This is the one I hate. Take Me Home, Country Roads.
My goodness.
Is that Kenny? It's not Kenny Thomas, is it? It's John Denver, isn't it?
Probably.
Right, hate it. That song with Rod Stewart and that woman. I don't wanna talk about. I hate that song.
Amazing, isn't it?
That one. Everyone's listening to this podcast now, going, yeah, that one. What was the song? No. There were loads. I can't quite think of it. It's a ballad. And not Johnny H. Jazz. I've got, actually, can I just...
Yeah, I'm
going to cheat, because I've actually made notes of this.
Obviously, Pattaya gets played, not surprisingly, here
yes.
all the time. And that's just about acceptable, I think, for me. But there are some songs, like, seriously, if I hear Hotel California,
Yeah.
I check bin and I leave and I go to the next bar.
Wow.
And yet, way back when, I used to think it was a good song, but it was a good song way back when, but I don't need to hear it every single week in, like, 2023.
Actually, the original vinyl album cut of Hotel California by the Eagles is actually really good. There's a couple of really, really good guitar solos in that. And it's great. But what does it for me, Hotel California, is when you get the Filipino bands or the Pattaya bands trying to reproduce that musical legend, and they're clearly not as talented as the musicians in the Eagles, and it's just absolutely awful.
So, I mean, is there anyone listening to this podcast? I was going to say, but I think I shouldn't have put the full stop there. Is there anyone listening to this podcast who's got a song that absolutely tells them to check bin and get the hell out of there because it's so overplayed?
I've just remembered the song that I really hate. Take Me to Your Heart.
Take Me to Your Heart. Oh my
Take
God.
Me to Your Heart. That they put that on loop in the bar over the road. Another one is I don't know why it's so popular over here, because it's a song about Northern Ireland, the troubles in Northern Ireland, and it's Zombie by the Cranberries.
Well, I mentioned that a few minutes
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
Number two, that's
Yeah.
in all the bars. And then
Yeah.
there's also, what is it? It's Not About the Money.
Oh,
What's that one?
yeah, the girl who's actually a really good songwriter. I can't think about her. Yeah, it's not about the money.
I always like to listen to that every time I go into an establishment. I think it's kind of like hard on the irony.
That girl who sings that is a very good artist, but she's also a songwriter, and she writes songs for people like Taylor Swift and stuff like that. I'm trying to think of her name now. As a disc jockey of many years, I should remember this, shouldn't I?
Because they have got a big music festival coming to Pattaya during Songkran as well.
Yeah, I didn't
Rolling
mention.
Loud, isn't
yeah,
it?
I mean, I
Rolling
didn't
Loud.
mention that, but that is absolutely huge for this town.
Yeah,
And-
3
and
days, isn't it? Hip hop.
I think, I mean, I was going to ask this, and maybe we can segue slightly back into Songkran. What can possibly go wrong? What things that can really go wrong? And I don't want to go into this celebration of fun and frivolity, saying, oh, yes, but you know what's going to happen, and be really negative like most expats over here. But what can go wrong? I hope there aren't any problems at that music festival as far as ticketing, as far as the actual... the venue, getting in and out of the venue, what you can do when you're in the venue, because I think for those people that don't know, it's a huge event, and I think it's the only date in Southeast Asia, and it's hip hop music, so I know that probably doesn't appeal to a large selection of our viewers and listeners, although I have to say we do play quite a bit of these sort of songs in the bar. So you're looking at Cardi B, who is a A1 lister hip-hop artist. Chris Brown is also there, and there's other artists as well over 3 days. And I'm thinking, and I don't want to... It's all music festivals can sometimes attract a bad crowd, and I'm just hoping that there isn't any kind of incidents there that really put a bad spin or a bad taste in the mouth.
Putting Pattaya on an international map of hosting a real top-line
Yeah,
music
I mean,
festival.
it is absolutely, it is top line. If you can imagine in the world of rock music, it would be like the Rolling Stones and the Eagles and all together in one festival. It's that big. I mean, they are huge stars, those people. Obviously, in a smaller way, and people are going to say, how can you compare these hip-hop artists to the Eagles and all that, because obviously they talk like that, people who like the Eagles.
Yeah.
But it's true. I mean, for somebody that likes that genre of music, it's huge, and interestingly, for a younger audience, and I think a really Southeast Asian audience as well.
Yeah.
Because they've never had these big stars come over, so.
And it's fantastic. I mean, it could have been Bangkok, it could have been anywhere, but for that to be listed down in Pattaya, that is absolutely top class.
Yeah. Somebody else is coming to Thailand very soon.
Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
Have we? Maybe I can pull that up for those people that are watching on the World Wide Web, in the internet channel, on the YouTube channel.
He's going to Bangkok, isn't he, Tyson Fury?
Yes.
And I mean, in fairness, we have had a few like footballers, ex-footballers, and people like that.
Yeah, but this is the
Pattaya,
world heavyweight champion.
This is top division. Tickets are not cheap.
Are they not?
I believe if you just sit and have the meal or the drinks or whatever it is and listen, then it's probably about 6,000 baht. Did I say my name was Balloon Chaser? And then I think if you want the photograph at the end and all that, it might be 8,000 baht or something like that. Is that worth it or not? I guess if you're a Tyson Fury fan.
I mean, look. It's let me just put it on so you can see it on the screen. There we go. Press release. Tyson Fury in Bangkok for one night only. Let me just quickly have a look. As he says, it's at the Millennium Hilton Hotel. It's on the 8th of June. It's a gala dinner presented by Plantations International, 7 till 10. Question and answer session. And tickets are 9,000 Thai baht. There's a discount for booking a table of 10. Actually, I mean, compared to how much was the Gaza thing?
Yeah, Gaza came and Teddy Sheringham before that, wasn't it? As well?
Yeah, I mean, I went to Teddy Sheringham, but it wasn't anything. I mean, I'd quite like to see big stars coming into Thailand, like Gaza. Fantastic. Frank Bruno.
Yeah,
you know, great for the boxing fans. But I wouldn't have paid more than like 3,000 or 4,000. But I don't think 9 grand is that expensive for Tyson Fury.
Yeah,
I mean, he's the world heavyweight champion.
You get your photo taken with him as well, professionally taken. I mean, again, if you're a big boxing fan, it probably is worth it. So
once again, let's just tell people again about that. It is the WBC world heavyweight champion, as you can see, Tyson Fury, and he's here on the let me just see, for one night only, and it is the 8th of June. So fantastic, man. I might even go to that. I mean, I've got to be honest, I'm not a big Tyson Fury fan, only because I mean I do follow a lot of boxing, and I've been to a lot of boxing fights. I saw Frank Bruno fight, I saw Lennox Lewis fight, and I've met a lot of boxers as well. In fact, one of my prized possessions, which is just over the camera, if you're watching on YouTube, just over there above the bar. If you ever come into the bar, have a look at it. It's my boxing glove signed by Joe Frazier. When I met Joe Frazier,
you've got a lot of autograph stuff.
I have got a lot of autograph stuff, yeah, and I've met like Amir Khan and.
Is Khan the one who's just been banned?
Who's just been banned for 2 years, yeah.
Wow. That wasn't for meeting you, though, no?
No.
That was another offence.
No. And we can talk about that maybe at another time. I don't particularly think that that's correct, the way that I banned him, but never mind. But there's, I've met a lot of people. But for me, in that boxing era, Joe Frazier, everyone went on about Muhammad Ali, but for me, Joe Frazier was the man. I really, really liked him more than Ali even. So that's Tyson Fury. Another thing that was in the news, and we were trying to find it online, but we can't seem to see any details of it. And there's actually been 2 stories about this recently. And this is the story, and we've all, I mean, this is almost, if you had like a template for a story about Thailand, what went into the international media, it would be a person from the country that reports. So say from the UK, it would be in the Daily Mirror or the Daily Mail or the Sun or something like that. Local guy from wherever goes to Thailand for the holiday of his dreams, is travelling around the world, or he's took a year out or whatever. And it can be a lady as well, we have to say. And gets on a motorbike without a helmet, has an accident, and is now in a hospital with no insurance or insurance company that won't pay out, and they didn't wear a helmet. And the question always is, do we have any sympathy for this person? And I'm not going to say any particular cases, because I know there might be people watching this video. But just generally, we see these, and there's 2 recent cases. Unfortunately, in one of them, the man from Samaria, I believe he did pass away, and he's died now.
In terms of the latest one, I mean, probably worth pointing out that there is some dispute over whether he's
Yeah.
wearing a helmet or not.
And I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, well, according to the press reports, and if you like, from the family side or his side, they're saying he was wearing a helmet, but the insurance company has said they have no evidence that he was wearing a helmet, and therefore the suggestion, if he had a helmet, is for some reason removed from the scene of the accident. And whether that's true or not, obviously, we weren't there, so we don't know. But harking back to Songkran, I mean, Songkran is known anyway as like the 10 deadliest days on the roads of Thailand, full stop. So if people are thinking about coming for a Songkran holiday or any holiday, it's going to be more dangerous anyway. Motorcycles are so dangerous, as we've seen in Thailand. And sometimes you think you've covered by insurance, but insurance won't pay because you're taking that additional risk, or there's a question mark over whether you took full safety precautions. Terrible situation.
Somebody told me about they were somebody that worked in an insurance company, life insurance, accident insurance, holiday insurance, and he said that, don't quote me on the numbers, but you'll get my point of view. There was something like 10 salespeople in this company that sold the insurance, and there were 200 assessors. And the assessor is the person that looks at each individual claim and decides whether they're going to pay out or not. Yeah. And that says everything you need to know really about insurance people.
I mean, if you're going to get on a motorcycle in Thailand, you really do need to know that you've got watertight insurance, because if you don't, in the event of an accident, it's going to cost you money, and it could cost you a lot worse than money.
Why do you think people that come from countries where it is illegal and there is 100% compliancy with wearing a motorcycle helmets, and they come to Thailand and they don't wear them? Why?
In my opinion, I mean, people come to Thailand, people come to Pattaya for freedom. They come to get away from the grind. They come to get away from bureaucracy. They come to get away from rules and regulations, and they somehow translate that into mean they've got total freedom to do whatever they like with no consequences. Yeah. And the first part of that is possibly true. They do have a lot more freedom to do what they like, but there's always consequences of one sort or another for some people. And I think that's it. It's such a great country for like being who you want to be, expressing yourself and being free, that sometimes we just think, well, we're unstoppable, we're unbeatable, we can do what we like, and there won't be any consequences. Sadly for that individual, there are.
Yeah, I couldn't. You've absolutely taken the words right out of my mouth. I mean, do you remember the first time that you came to Thailand, the very first trip, and some of the things that you saw, and you just think, wow, this country, it's a bit nuts, it's a bit bananas, and obviously, it's a bit like going to Las Vegas and judging America by what happens in Vegas, or going to Blackpool and judging the UK. Coming to Pattaya, it's just like completely mind-blowing the very first time getting into that groove of what happens, and you do think, wow, do you know, you can do this and nobody cares, you know. I mean, like the health and safety thing, the whole health and safety, you get people. I love doing this in the bar. Somebody says I'll have a chat with somebody and they might mention their profession, or I might ask them, you know, what do you do? And he'll say, oh, you know, I work on a construction site or something. And I always say, I'm sorry if I've ever told you this, but I do say this all the time. You must be so impressed with the levels of health and safety over here. And obviously, if you've never been to Thailand, you've got people on construction sites walking around in flip-flops, no safety gear. They'll be doing welding without any glasses and stuff like that. And it is the world, the land that health and safety forgot. And that's brilliant, isn't it? That's fantastic. Until you drop a big, you know, there's a reason why there are all these regulations in other countries. And it's because, actually, I think a lot of it is to do with litigation and you know, legally. And what do you think? Is it true that, like, for example, if you walk on a pavement in the UK or sidewalk and you trip over and fall, it is the fault of the local authority who made that,
that's
right?
Probably true, yeah.
Which is why, hey presto, hey, guess what? All the sidewalks are really, really nice. because they make sure they've got a legal responsibility to do that. But when you come to Thailand, I don't think there is any legal responsibility on the local authorities.
No, I think they'd be having claims every minute of the day if there was,
Always,
by the state of the pavements in Pattaya.
And so it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because you can say, well, it's great that there's no, freedom, you can do what you want. But then, hold on. It's always, I think, in Thailand, it's always like, unless anyone else says it, you're at fault. It's your fault, especially as a Westerner as well. It's you're at fault.
But
So
I mean, going back to Songkran, if you put that powder on your cheeks, or if someone puts that powder on your cheeks, that will protect you from everything evil. So, I mean, I think probably the answer is either get a Buddhist amulet and have that round your neck, or indeed get some powder on your cheeks. Off you go.
And make sure it's the cheeks on your face, obviously.
Possibly.
I missed that point out because there is something about the fact that the local Thai people will tamboon or make merit every day, some of them. And when they do that, they have this sort of indestructible feel about them.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I can drive at ridiculously fast speeds because I have made merit and the Lord Buddha is watching over me. And how many times, the superstition of wearing Buddhist amulets and in cars and motor vehicles, you see that all the time.
Well, I never forget, I was in a taxi coming from Bangkok a while back, and the taxi driver was like Ayrton Senna reborn. And I was actually, I used to race cars, but I was getting a bit scared, particularly when he was cornering.
I used to race
I beg your pardon. Particularly when he was cornering, and I said to my Thai friend who I was with, I said, this guy's a bit dangerous, isn't he? She went, no problem whatsoever. Have you seen all the Buddhist amulets hanging from the mirror?
Absolutely.
Well, I had, but what he was doing is every time he was going around a sharp bend, he was taking his hands off the wheel to stop the Buddhist amulets from making a sort of chinking noise as he went round.
Yeah.
And I thought, that is not the best way to get protection from Buddhist amulets, is it?
No. So, can we give some practical advice for those people that are maybe coming to Thailand for the first time listening to this podcast as far as motorcycles?
Motorcycles, unless you are really confident, I would not rent a motorcycle in Pattaya or even in Thailand. I wouldn't, if I was really confident, then that's fine. But it's a risky business. And I think we've said about Thai roads before, you might be the most competent person in the world, but sadly, a lot of the other people on the roads are not. And you see it all the time, motorcyclists getting knocked off by cars, trucks and all of the rest of it. And Thailand has, the second worst road deaths in the world or something like that?
Some African countries, number one.
But when you look at the figures, the vast majority, and off the top of my head it's like 70% of the road deaths in Thailand are motorcyclists.
Yes.
So that's how dangerous it is. So if you need to drive or you think you can drive in a way that's safe, make sure you got the full protection, the helmets and all the rest of it, and the insurance. Yeah,
and just assume that whatever happens, the insurance company is not going to pay out.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I've got insurance from the bank, funnily enough, for me and accidents. And if you actually look at the terms and conditions in the small print, there's just no way they're ever going to pay out for anything. And actually, you've got to pay anyway, and then you've got to get the money back from the insurance company. So
I used to have a motorcycle before I moved to Bangkok. I used to work in the province and city of Ratchaburi, and I picked up the motorcycle and the guy said to me, you need to be careful if you've never driven in Thailand before. It's my first job in Thailand. And I said, I'm okay, I always stop for the red light and I'm always most careful on the roads. He said, the time at the junctions to be careful is not when you've got a red light, it's when you've got a green light, because you'll think it's safe to go through and someone will come across you on a red light and just have you off straight away. So it made me think that, it's not just your driving ability, it's the fact that other people's driving ability really isn't up to scratch 9 times out of 10.
And I would always say, as good a driver as you think you are, and you may have advanced driving experience in other countries, you could be the best driver in the world, but it's everybody else who is, especially late at night, instance of people getting drunk and getting on bikes. I mean, how many times have I seen that in the bar?
And going back to our theme of Songkran, I mean, I've seen people knocked off motorbikes just by the force of having, gallons of water spurted at them. So, I mean, again, water all over the roads and everything is just another added danger, really, at this time of year.
I won't care because I'm not here. Right, I think we've been going for nearly an hour, and we're going to try and do an hour uncut. So it's been a nice little chat. We're going to try and get some guests to come in, but all the guests we've asked either don't want to appear on camera or are out of the country at the moment.
Well, I was wondering why I got invited on. I knew there was a reason.
You are a permanent fixture.
Oh, all right then. Okay.
But we're going to try and get some interesting people.
So we're going to have a threesome next time, are we?
Yes, but it will be strictly threesome in a media sense and not in nothing sexual.
I never thought any other way.
Nothing sexual. So, what's coming up on Le Pattaya YouTube channel? For those people who are, again, listening on the podcast feed, we are on a YouTube channel. It's Le Pattaya. We've just put out a video about a video that I never thought would get any views at all. And you said something really funny, actually, when we were having a coffee before this. You said, if you look at that video, you look really fed up. And just tell people the story about that. Because the video was shot at Suvarnabhumi Airport.
Well, we went to Suvarnabhumi Airport and we shot a video which was about the delays that some people are experiencing going through the airport, and also returning to a previous theme about why are airfares so high to come to Thailand, to come to Pattaya. And at the same time, because we had to get there and we had to get back, we decided that we'd make a video on practical steps. What's the best way to get to the airport? What's the best way to get to Pattaya when you arrive at the airport?
We may well have discussed this beforehand, before the actual shooting day, but I completely forgot. And so, like when you have something in your mind, right, I'm going to Suvarnabhumi to do a video, bang, that's it, let's go, do it, in the can, come back. You said, au contraire.
I did. Because I do speak Spanish.
It's German, isn't it? And you says, no, don't forget, we've got to do that video of how to get to and from the airport. And I was like, yeah, let's just do it then, right? And so we actually filmed it, and I think you are quite correct. If you do look at my body language, it is very like, what the hell am I doing this video for?
To be fair, you hadn't eaten at that point, and I think lunch was beckoning. And those two things together, the fact that we'd already shot a previous video and Phil thought, job done, it's all over. And the fact that we hadn't had any lunch was kind of making you go a bit quicker than you normally do. But it's a fast-paced video, that's the thing.
It is fast-paced. And talking of going quickly, in that video, you do see a lot of me from behind, because I think, like, that's just the way you shot it, like, continuity.
Well, no. Someone actually said in the comments that I'd done okay being able to keep up with you because you were on a mission. And the reason there's so many shots from behind was I was running after you. That was the truth of it.
I was like, we've got to do this video. Whoa. So, but I've got to say, we've only got a couple of minutes left, so I can't really go into this too much, but maybe discuss in the comments, I really do walk funny. If for those people who have never had a YouTube channel and a cameraman following you behind, right, when you see yourself from behind perspective...
Is it a Teletubbies kind of walk? Is it one like that?
It might be. I mean, you've segued into something there, because I very nearly was a Teletubby in a previous life. I was supposed to audition for the Teletubbies and never turned up, and my mate did, and now he's a multi-millionaire.
Or maybe were you a lot bigger at some point? Were you a lot bigger at some point?
I was. But when I'm walking on camera, and it must be like when I walk anyway, I look like I've got two carpets or rolled up carpets underneath my arms, and I must admit I look a bit hard, and I don't mean in a sexually aroused way. I mean I look like, do you want some? Do you want some? I look like that, and I hate people that walk like that. I absolutely detest the way I walk.
Yeah, I think it might be because you're a big, powerful bloke, and that's the kind of walk that you've got. And you were on a mission. You were a man on a mission.
But I've always said that I have this sort of physical, intimidating look that I don't know I have, but I do, because if I'm in the bar and somebody's playing up like there was last night, actually, somebody plays up, and I just go up to them and say, we don't do that sort of thing here. And they're all like, they all go, oh, sorry, and sit down like a little mouse. So we've segued slightly. Let's talk about the channel. So that's the video we've got in there at the moment. It's done very well. If you're looking at coming from Suvarnabhumi, Bangkok, BKK is the airport code, into Pattaya, that's the 3 different ways that you can do it, either by bus, by regular taxi, or by Bolt. I was actually thinking, as I was watching that, what if the Suvarnabhumi taxi drivers see that video? I'm there, misteregg, I've got a Le Pub shirt on, everybody knows who I am. I'm going to have spanners thrown through my window and things like that.
It's lucky you've got that funny walk then, because they'll probably be coming round and looking for an hard man.
So what have we got? Are we allowed to say what we've got in coming up?
Yeah, but you remember, every time we've ever said, even to a relatively small audience, what's coming up next, the thing
gets
that
stolen.
happens is that someone else does it the day before we do it.
I've got a really good idea for a Songkran video that nobody's ever done before.
Really?
Yeah, I'll tell you afterwards.
Okay.
I did mention it in the members live stream actually, so I might
there might be a mole in there. You never know.
You never know. Okay, so watch out for some videos. I mean, what I can definitely say is there will be some content from Songkran in the next couple of weeks, and there will be some content from the United Kingdom, me going to the UK, back to the UK. And if you are a member of the YouTube channel, not a subscriber, people get this mixed up, you can subscribe for free, but to become a member, there's a membership area which is kind of like a pay-per-view area. You get extra content in there, including emojis in the chat. You get I've done 3 vlogs this week already in the members, so I do like a personal vlog with me walking around like looking like a hard man with carpets under my arms like Popeye, and just me, my life. It's a little bit like peering through the curtains of my bedroom window, that sort of thing. Plus, you get all the archived live streams are all in there as well, and a lot of other extra content. Become a member from just £2 a month. If you go into the members area, you will see not only content as it happens from my trip to the UK, but also an exclusive meetup that I'm going to be doing in the UK for members only. And it's only £2 a month to join, and all the money goes to help pay for things like all the cameras and microphones and lights that you see around on this particular podcast. And don't forget all the software, so the music that we play, the software we're recording this on, all that sort of stuff, plus the podcast hosting, all that costs money. So any money they get from the members goes to pay that as well. There you go. There's my advert. I think we can wrap it up.
Can I take these damn sunglasses off now and put my hat on the right way round?
There you go.
Okay, that's much better.
Yeah, lovely. Okay, so thank you for listening and watching on YouTube. Our return to the podcasting world. Thank you so much. Leave your comments down below. Give us a like and obviously subscribe. And I'll see you when I get back from the UK.
I see you, everyone. If you see me looking wet and bedraggled during Songkran, just remind me of how positive I was at this time. See you.
And can I ask a little favour? If you are coming to Pattaya during Songkran and you see this particular gentleman with his very expensive waterproof camera, and for those listening in the audio section, I'm putting my fingers up as in a quotation marks. His waterproof camera. Make sure that he's looking to test his waterproof camera. So maybe just a little bit of an extra bit of a bucket of water. He's already mentioned that he likes the powder on his face because it's a good look thing. And just make sure that he's really getting into the Songkran spirit, because that's what he's all about. He loves it so much. He wants you to give him a little bit of extra zoom in there.
Yeah, and that's to all the 23-year-old Thai girls watching.
Really?
Might be.
Lovely. Okay, from me, Mr. Egg, and
from Balloon Chaser as well.
We will see you very soon on the channel, but from us here at Le Pub, that was a nice little podcast. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.